Welcome to Project Eden for Empyrion Galactic Survival, and we're stood on the bridge of my capital vessel. We're still on the dead planet that we were exploring in the last part, and I'm going to be completely honest, I'm not going to be making the video that I originally planned to make for two reasons. The first reason is, if you look up in the top left hand corner, if I put it into the dark there, you'll see we're now on the 1.7 update for Empyrion. This was released on the 16th of December 2021. And the second reason is that I said I was going to rebuild the ship in this video, but I actually did rebuild it, but I ended up with a video that was 2.5 hours long, and I thought maybe that I should be doing that. So what we're actually doing in this video is leaving the dead planet and going off and finding a new planet for a reason which will become apparent in a little while. Now, the first thing I want to do is just talk about the new update. Now, the new update, as you might have guessed, is save game compatible, even with Project Eden, although Ravian has left a little caveat saying that there may be one or two minor issues. But although he has updated the Project Eden for some of the minor changes. Now, the actual update that was released for Empyrion was predominantly a graphical change with a few other bits and pieces, and what I'm going to do is go through very quickly what these changes are, but I'm not going to demonstrate anything. If you want a very good video demonstrating the new graphical features, I strongly recommend going to Spange's channel, where he's done a very good video showing the new effects for water, some of the new plants and other items which are in the update. So what I'm going to do is just go through what I see as the top 6 points in the new update. The first one, it says new decorations. It says 200 new assets have been added. It says, although currently these are only available in demo planets. Now, I'm guessing that I won't be able to get to any of these demo planets, because I would assume that to be able to find them, you will need to restart and regenerate the galaxy. So we won't be looking at those. Plus the fact that they are demos, so I'm assuming that a future release, they will come into more generic use. And I'm assuming that what Empyrion are doing is creating these planets in order to get feedback from the community. So moving on to what is probably the big one of this update, that is improved visual effects for water and grass. And the water still remains a layer, but it seems you can now interact with it. If you fly over also move through it, the water pushes away, so that's going to be really cool to look at. Also, the grass itself looks a lot more realistic as well, and hopefully we may be able to find a planet with that type of grass on. But there's this possibility that that may not be available because we're working in an existing galaxy. So moving on to the third point, it says reworked harvestable models, but they're still familiar. So what the artists in the Empyrion team have done is they've reworked the very familiar plants that we harvest from. Moving on to point 4, it says new character controller for AI. This is a change to improve the pathing of creatures, so they can get to you, especially when you're in the open. Because if any of you play this game, you'll be aware that quite often the creatures seem to have a bit of a problem finding you, and they tend to move in a slightly zigzag line towards you. But it seems that motion has now been improved, so that presents the possible risk that these creatures are going to come at you a lot faster. I think it'd be quite interesting to encounter some hostile dinosaurs and see how quickly they can get at us. And the next one is something I think has blown Spange away completely, because I move to third person and press the C key. We can see we can now crouch. Can you move? Yeah, we can move in crouch as well. So I mean, it'd be great if this was the beginning of a possible stealth mode. Now, the actual patch notes do say that this is the first iteration of crouch. So I'm not sure. I mean, we could equip a weapon, crouch, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose we're in a crouch firing position there. That's pretty cool. And the final one is a bit more involved. It's to do with medicines and the various diseases you can catch in the game. And it goes under the title of status effects and medical outlets. And what they've actually done is they've reorganized the medication now into 6 categories, which is wound, disease, infection, toxic, temperature, and radiation. And each one of these will have 3 tiers. And what they've tried to do is make it a lot easier to understand which what effect you're under, and also how quickly that escalates. And one of the more subtle changes they brought in is the fact that some of our more trusted medicines only have a minimizing effect. So, for example, if you've got a wound and you don't have the treatment for the wound, but the wound will eventually become affected, but you were able to take things which will slow down the process of becoming infected. Not sure if that will actually kick in in this series because I've gone to the food and meds here, and you can see here the indigestion tablets are now called painkillers. This is the most noticeable change. You can see it's effective against indigestion and food poisoning. And then if we can find, there's here antibiotic tablets, effective against parasites, effective against infected wounds, necrosis, open wounds, dermal burn, and frostbite. Of course, one of the possible problems is the fact that we've got these medications from Project Eden. And I'll just have a quick look at here. I'm not sure these have changed. So that's a decontamination kit. This is dermal bone, broken leg, closed fracture. The only thing I can think is that we'll just have to play with some of these and see how things go. So that gets through the first reason why I'm not doing the video I expected. Now the second reason is that I started recording a video where I was rebuilding my ship and I got a bit carried away, and the video ended up about 2.5 hours long. And so what I'm going to do is give you a little bit of a tour of what I've done. You can see the ship has changed quite dramatically now. What I've done is I put a couple of really large thrusters on the back here to give you a lot more forward thrust. And if I come down underneath here, see I've put a large thruster in this corner here, give me more lift. And I've rearranged the braking thrusters as well. So we got quite a lot of that. And I've put the thrusters on the side here and covered them with grates. And just to give you an idea of the amount of damage I've done to this base, because what I've done is I've looted out vast amounts of combat blocks from here, partly to work with the ship here. And another reason why I've picked up the combat blocks is that if any of you following the series, you'll be aware that I'm working on a Scar, where is it, Raider Mark 1 here. If I go to the factory, you see now what I've done is I looted out loads and loads of combat steel blocks, so that I've now fulfilled all the requirements for staphium and iron. So all we got to find now is some estrum, zirconium, and of course the obligatory optronics bridges and matrices. And I think that's going to go there. And I think what I'll do is I'll walk down. I'll show you what goes on inside. Oh, over here I tried to fix the problem with here, but I've still got a radiation hotspot here, so I still can't grow anything in this corner. But I can actually now got an extra plot back in line. But if you look at these plants, I'm assuming that these haven't been reworked. And if I come down here, one change you'll see here, it's a bit brighter down here now. I've put some lights in. I've also dealt with that block that was in the corner. The tunnels through here now are actual tunnels, and above us, I'll show you here, are Xeno steel blocks with some fuel tanks and oxygen in here. This internal of the hangar deck has been reworked, and if you look very carefully behind the advanced constructor there, what I've done is I've encased all these thrusters in Xeno steel blocks. So the way it works is on the outside here we've got the combat steel blocks. If you look very carefully through there, you'll see that there's a layer of Xeno steel behind it, and then behind that, if I come around here, see the ship's actually wider now by an extra 2 blocks. There's a lot more space on each side. And what I've also done is put in a layer of containers to increase my storage. Then on top of that, I've put some carbon composite just to put for decorative purposes. And I've also put in an extra fuel tank here because I had to take out some fuel tanks in the tunnels back here to make everything a bit more stable. And just to show you here, what I've got now is an area called Constructor Out. It's got an extra 320,000, and I think it's building supplies is the other one I've created. I've now got building supplies and shipbuilding materials, I've called it. I've effectively got another 740,000 storage. I want to shut the back of here. Shut the door. And of course I've also done a little bit of work with the texturing as well, just to make the ship look a bit more palatable. You can see I think I quite like this tunnel. It's slightly hypnotic actually, and I think that covers all the changes. It took a very long time to get everything done. I did consider making changes up here, but that might be reserved for the next iteration of the ship, because I'm not finished with this. Because one thing I do want to show you from up here, obviously we got a lot more landing space here, and the turrets are now up on these bastions because I wanted to lift these thrusters out of the hangar deck. So these turrets now sit on these areas here, and what I've done is I've kind of increased this area here, because it's possible that when we do get the Scar ship, we're going to have to dock the two together so that we can move between systems. So that could be interesting. So I've created a really big area here, possibly to do that, with a possible option. I've kind of created this kind of floating lip thing out the back here, which could be extended should we have any problems with docking. So that is basically the current state of the ship. But if you look here, though, there's still loads of blocks here. I mean, I could have built this entire ship twice over with that. You close that up so it looks a bit tidy. And what I've done is reinstigated the guns underneath here as well. And I've put a couple of extra sentry guns on the back, actually, for a little bit of extra defense here. And the other reason I've kind of... And one reason why I've kind of widened the ship here is that if we want to put some ship-mounted weapons like forward-firing lasers or something like this, we've now got the blocks in order to be able to do that. The only thing I'm not totally happy is with this. I'm kind of thinking that maybe these should look like this, but I'm okay at the moment. I think I'll see if it might grow on me. So I think that is probably enough of an introduction. So what are we actually going to do in this video? Space here is so big now, I can get lost up here. And what I'm thinking is that I want to leave this system and then possibly find a new system to explore. Either that, or what we could do is go into, is it this one? We've got this planet over here, but I mean, it's got a little bit of zirconium in its system. It says space around a hot system. Kind of would like to go and check this out just to see whether it's got any zirconium on it before we leave. But if there isn't much on it, we'll just push off straight away. And what we're going to do is just jump in the ship here, and that's here. And I suppose what I can do is if I put the thrusters on, I'll just give a quick look at the CPU. So I haven't used that much in the way of CPU, so I've got plenty of slack here. And statistically now you can see we got 768 meganewtons forward thrust, 493 meganewtons lift, 109 in each direction, 174 for landing, and 217 for braking. So we've got a pretty good profile now. The only thing is the ship can be get a little bit lopsided because of the containers are in each side of the ship, which means the ship could be unbalanced if you put too much in one side or the other. But I've done a test flight and the ship is a lot more responsive, and you can see we can actually now gain height a lot quicker as well, like that. So you can see the effect of the vertical thrust now. While we're here, actually, I did take a look at these moons, but I don't get a good vibe from them, so I don't really want to spend time on them. So come into here and just find that. What's the Irigor here? And mark that as a target. And we'll just see if we can find it. It's down that way. That I can actually turn fairly quickly now. Wait, where are you? There you are. Now the other thing that was part of the update is there is actually a Christmas mission if you're interested in chasing after Santa Claus, but again I do wonder whether you would have to restart to be able to get that Christmas mission. In fact, we could have a look actually. Although I think what you have to do is go to the Empyrion home planet. Here we are. Let's try out. But they're not friendly, are they? What we got here? We got, as I say, Cosium asteroids. But there's a lot of ships in this area. So we're going to have to need to be a little bit careful. Yeah, I think we're going to head straight for the planet. It'd be a bit ironic to leave a dead planet, come to this one, and then get into trouble. This medium, increased military industry, rare ores, bandits, pirate wreckage, decrease civilian. I mean, it'd be great to pick up a Sarcosium asteroid. But first things first, we'll just get down on the planet and see if there's any Cosium deposits actually on the planet, because they'd be an easier pick. We're breaking through the atmosphere. Lots and lots of trees. Because what we could do is just... it's probably the water. Trying to see the water from with this ship might not be such a good idea. I think if we can find a flat area to land. It looks like there's an open area there. What we can do, and you can actually see the ship looks a little bit lighter, and we're just gonna look this desert area here. Move forward a little bit, and the ship can defend itself. Oh, it's nice to be able to see a nice bright finish. You can see that window there's a little bit darker. Right, it's probably a little bit too bright now. I can turn the lights off, and we're still. Everything is looking pretty nice. Wow. What we got on here? We've got 3 Estrum deposits. I certainly wouldn't mind the Estrum deposits, because we need Estrum for the new ship. Need some oxygen actually. Is this planet, quick check. Is it breathable? Yes, it's breathable, so we don't need oxygen. Not exactly sure how my ship fares at the moment. Wow. We certainly need some fuel. Building a find everything now. We got that there. Got a little bit of ammunition. And put the thrusters on, the shields are on. First things first, we're gonna fly across the surface and see if we can find the water. All these trees. I think there's water's just over there. Just to see if whether the water effects have become active. What we should be able to do is drop down. If you look very carefully, what you'll see is drop down. Up. We can actually have a boat or a submersible. Oops, maybe that's a bit too low. If we can find somewhere that won't get us killed, what we can do is just drop off. Let's just hang out what's around. Certainly a lot of trees around here. We go to just over here. This looks like where we might find some collectibles. Make sure. Oh, what have we got ammunition wise? Yeah, I think we got the new collectibles because that's obviously got a more orangey look to it than it used to have. Let's have a look round. Oops, thank you. Don't do that game. You frighten the living daylights out of me. Yeah, so the herbal leaves now don't have that bright yellow. Of course, you can see on the edge here we've actually got some wave effects, but as far as I know, it's just a layer. So we can, if we just, yeah, cause a water effect. Yeah, I mean, if you run in and stop quickly, you can create waves. That's pretty cool. Have a look around. I'm not very good with third person. We got some moss scrapings here. This looks very familiar, but the texture is a little bit more detailed, isn't it? I'm just looking for the vegetable plants, if there's any of those around. I mean, I don't need the resources, but we might as well just look around and see what the new new things look like. I suppose that confetti moss scrapings looks okay. Kind of a bit. I mean, the trees look pretty good, but I mean that could be. There's always this psychological effect that when they say, "Oh, we changed the trees," you start looking at things in a different way. So we're just going to. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And we'll just shove this in the fridge. I think we've got a lot in the way of ammo though. Never did find the 300 odd, what do we call it, shotgun shells that didn't have that much actual ammunition either, so, oops. Let's just go exploring. This is a big planet. So we're going to have to try and find, I certainly want the Zarcosium. So we'll just go off and I'm there. Need to turn and go across the lake. We're going to go in this direction now. See if we can find some creatures. It'd be fun to see if we can actually pick up some spiders or something like that. Yeah, maybe if we can find a low-level POI. Methium, got a minigun drone. I suppose we could deal with him. Oh, it takes you back. We'll pretend this is a new start. There's some new plants in here actually. Wow. I don't think I've seen those before. And I can hear something. I think there's a bit of a bug ugly. Yeah. Okay, apologies guys, I've just got to pause the game. It's been really overcast and miserable so far today, and suddenly the sun's come out and I can't see a thing. Okay, all back, done. We'll just, what I'm looking for is some hostile. Oh, look at that, we got a buggy. I have to be a bit careful because bugs. The plants definitely look different. Gotcha. I don't recall seeing these before. I actually quite like this actually. I mean, so when these are new plants, I do wonder whether they've actually deployed some of the new plants onto the planets. What's this here? Some buds. I like these buds look a lot more interesting. Quite impressed with that actually, even if it. Where are we going? We're right on top of some promethium. I'm not sure. There's a small promethium deposit. I'm quite okay with promethium at the moment. But I'm going to say what I really need is Zarcosium. Oh, it's a little bit of an audio glitch there. Got Estrum. Oh, it's Estrum we're looking for, isn't it? Not Zarcosium. Let me just. So it goes without saying we're going to be in the middle of some trees. What I'm going to do is going to equip the pick drill, get rid of that up there. This can go in the ammo. Nope, want that in there. That can go in the ammo. This can go in the fridge. And then what I'm going to do is Let's push myself in there. Now, the question is, where's the Estrum? Estrum. Oh, there it is. And because we're going to be drilling by hand, the reason I've gone inside is so that if anyone tries to sneak up on us, they're going to have to deal with the ship defences. So I won't have any spiders or anything. Wow. It's going to be pretty deep actually. Gone down to maximum depth and I didn't get anything. Because I haven't got an ore scanner on. I don't think I've actually got an ore scanner with me. Oh, there's the ore scanner. I knew I'd put it away. If that makes a difference. Oh, is that the Estrum there? Or are you lying to me, game? Oh, there it is. There's the Estrum. We'll just stand here. It's really surprising when you get into certain habits and you've been doing something and then you think, well, there's the Estrum just down here. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to mine out the Estrum. And we're not going to get that much. Oh, look at that. It took me a little while to find it, but there's a little bit there. And I think that should clear it out. So just jump in here. Up, go back to here. And we've now got rid of that one. So we're just going to go out. Wow, this is a big planet. There's Promethium there. We've got 8 Promethium on here as well. What I'm going to do is just have a fly round and see what we can find. Okay, welcome back. What we have found is a potential Xerax base, which means that if the Xerax are there, there's a possibility that all the other resources will be around their base. So we're going to head in that direction and see what type of base it is. Whatever it is, it's a level 5. And it's surrounded by miniguns. There's also another one there, so it looks like we're right on the edge. We're not getting anything to tell us it's Xerax territory at the moment. Can't see what it is. We've got an advanced fortress. That is something we could take down with the hover tank. Let's scoot round here. Something 2.882 kilometers in that direction. We're actually moving in to Xerax territory now. And that looks big. What on earth is that? Don't ever recall seeing anything like this. It looks like it's got some pretty impressive weapons on it, so. Piranha Propulsion Laboratory. Interesting. It doesn't seem to have any exterior weapons. Oops. There's something. Oh wow. Okay. Pull away. Pull away. I must admit, I'm very interested in this because I've got absolutely no idea. It's level 2. We can get in close. Well. I'm just being friendly. Go away. Can't see the missile launchers that were. Oops, something's firing at us pretty badly. Oh, they're on the other side of that. There they are. See if we can. I think we're here. We'll just see. He's gone. And we're definitely be coming back in the next part to check this out. He's gone. Okay. Gotta wait. And we'll just let the shields build back up. Just change the railgun. We got rid of him. I'm assuming that there's another one on the other side. How much? Hard to tell. Something else is firing at me. We just drop down again. You can teleport her there. There's no entrance here. Who else is firing at me? Oh, there's somebody below us. Okay. Get in close. And wah! Got rid of him. There's another one just around that corner. We're actually running out of ammunition, so maybe we can get one more just for luck. I think what we're going to do is we're going to come back here and check this out. I'm absolutely fascinated what this actually is. Just going to get away from that. But we will be back. I can assure you. Just have a look round and see if there's anything else here. We got the Karana Propulsion Laboratory in there, and away to our right. Oh, don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that! What I'm gonna do is just check out these. Oh wow! I'm running out of food. Fridge. Our supply of burgers, we're okay. And we'll just come here. And I think just to finish this video off, we're going to check these 3 resources, and then that will be it. An iron deposit. You guys can keep that. I'm not going to take down loads of drones just to find some iron. I've got more than enough steel plates and do it. So we've got a whole crop here. Let's fly over here. Copper, not particularly that interested. But we've got a whole group of resources here. Yeah, you just see them off, please. Some cobalt. I'm not exactly sure of cobalt. So what we're really looking for is the Estrum. Oh, look at this, a place with no trees. We'll just check these 2. Oh, we got a small lithium deposit here. I'm sure the trees never used to move like this in the past. Okay, let me see. It's a fun place to land, isn't it? There's something in the grass below us. Because I'm certainly not moving. Is that the trees moving? The trees moving? I don't know if you guys can hear it. There's like almost like footsteps or something. Got to be something fairly ugly down here. Just see if we can see them. Oh, there's a buggy. Hello, Mr. Buggy. Yeah, it's probably that bug. I mean, according to this, we're right on top of the Promethean, but I can't see it. So we're just going to skip across to here. So I think this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting. What I'll do is I'll carry on exploring, and then in the next part we'll go back to that aerial POI and just try and see what's going on there. If you've got any opinions on whether I should restart again, feel free to chuck it in the comments, or alternatively whether you think I should definitely continue. Also, feel free to state this, your game. Are you restarting or continuing to play? But until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.